Good morning, Facebook. How are you? Hope everybody is doing absolutely amazing on this morning. So you guys see in the title, I put the difference between a business owner and a business leader. And we're going to talk about that. And I also put special announcements. So on one of my broadcasts, I believe the link is actually up there to what I wanted to share with you guys. And then I'll share it publicly as we move on. But maybe about a year ago, I went to an area of North Carolina with my mom, my daughter, and my cousin, who's like a sister to me. My cousin had won a scholarship, Sharon, hey girl, hey, to a band competition. And while we were there, we decided to stay maybe about 3 days. And it was really close to a place called Asheville, North Carolina. Now, while we were there, I just had all of these feelings to come up. Hey, good morning, everyone. While I was there, and I just spoke in the atmosphere, I said, I'm going to have, an event here for my mastermind. Now, guys, at this time, I didn't have a mastermind. I had started enrolling a few people, but I hadn't even started it, right? And I just had this feeling that came over me the entire time I was there. Now, I don't know if the feeling came from, we did these hop on, hop off tours while we were there, and the tour guides were amazing. So the atmosphere was, it was just so much going on the inside of me while I was there. But the tour guides, I don't know if the feeling that I got was from the tour guides talking about all of the entrepreneurs over the years who have made Asheville their home, or either the home of their businesses, who had done like really, really well. They talked about the air and water quality of Asheville being, some of the best in the country. And famous people, entrepreneurs, philanthropists, writers, even some of our presidents would visit Asheville, North Carolina because of one, its great air and water quality, but also the atmosphere itself. And so I kind of spoke some things into existence, and I'm actually hosting a retreat in the Asheville area. I'm going to give more details on that as we get towards the end of the broadcast. I am almost half full of the number of people that I'm going to accept at this time, unless the response is just super great, and I may open up a few spaces. But when I was thinking about this particular space, I wanted a space where my mastermind members could meet, and then I wanted to extend the invitation to other leaders. And this morning, I want to talk about just that, like leadership, the difference in a business owner and a business leader. A business owner and a business leader. For those of you, you've never been on a live broadcast with me before, and you're like, who's this lady and what is she talking about? I'm Tanya Wilson-Cherry. I'm a growth strategist, business mentor, and certified life coach. So I help service-based business owners, salon owners, and coaches like yourself to brand, build, and profit in their business. But I do it a little different. I do it from a full circle perspective. So I focus on mindset, personal development, and business building. I believe that entrepreneurship is a full circle experience. If you guys agree with me, put me in the comments. Entrepreneurship, if you're looking to grow, open a business. Begin entrepreneurship, because it brings out everything that's on the inside of us, whether it's our greatness or the areas that we need to improve on. If you guys agree with that, put me in the comments. I tell anyone the bravest thing that you can do is become an entrepreneur, because all of your stuff shows up in entrepreneurship. At least that's what my experience was. So I had a vision for what it is that I wanted to do. And this is when I first started out, or my earlier years in entrepreneurship. And then I realized that the only way the vision would really go forth, because we can make the business go forth and what we're doing be acceptable to the public eye, but on the inside, stuff can just be all tore up. I'm just going to raise my hand. I don't see anybody else raising their hand, but I know if there are business owners and entrepreneurs who really, really want to grow, they really want to make that thing work that they have, they too have learned that a big part of growing a business is growing yourself. And so I had to learn so many lessons, not just about owning the business, but about myself and learning who I was and how I could operate better in the roles that are required for entrepreneurship and owning a business. So on this morning's training, I want to talk about the difference in a business owner and a business leader, because I know a lot of business owners, but the percentage of business leaders that I know is a lot smaller than the number of business owners that I know. So one, a business owner. We know the business owner is a person that starts the business. They may open the doors. They may get the licensings. They pay the bills. They may even hire the people. It's a lot of people out there that do that, right? But the business leader is someone almost completely different. And this is an area that I feel if we focused on more, our businesses would grow and soar and sustain, right? Because we can grow a business, but sustaining it is something completely different. But it will sustain to another level. So when I think about leadership as it relates to, owning a business, well, let's use these examples. So anybody can get married, right? It's easy to get married, but sustaining is something completely different, where the person has to really understand how they should operate in that role, whether it's husband or wife, right? Anyone can become a parent, but being a great parent requires something completely different. And it's no different from owning a business and becoming an actual leader in your business. So any thriving business or organization that you see is not necessarily because it was just a business that's been opened, but because it was opened by a great leader, or that person has taken time to become a great leader. So here's one quality that a business leader has. They have a clear vision. Now, if you followed me before, I talk about vision all the time. And mainly because when I started out, so originally I started out in the hair industry as a stylist. I've been a licensed cosmetologist for over 25 years. And I owned a salon with a full service staff of over 12 people that's not even the number of people that I've hired, but for 10 years. Prior to transitioning full-time into consulting for other service-based business owners. And when I first started doing hair, one of my downfalls, although I had the opportunity to work in a salon before I even finished beauty school. So the owner sent her husband to the beauty school to ask me to come and work in their business, because I've been doing their clients during the off time, and evidently the word got around. So I was blessed in that measure. And I did a lot of hair. They had a lot of business, and so I stayed busy. But one of the things that I did not have when I first started in my career was a clear vision. A clear vision. So for me, my goal was just to get a lot of customers and do a lot of hair. And many of you know, regardless of what the service is that you do in the business that you own, or that you may have done in the business that you own, regardless of how many times you do that service or how many more customers you have, if you don't know where it is that you're going, you get burned out, because the routine becomes old and you become complacent. So you may even stop marketing yourself, or lose focus on what you're doing without a clear vision. And I had a free webinar Monday, and one of the participants shared with me that they've been in the industry for a number of years. They're an owner. But one of the things they were doing, or they were clear about what they needed to do, because one of the things I taught inside that webinar was I taught about clutter. And many of us think clutter is just paperwork, or maybe a pile of bills, or those clothes that you haven't folded yet. But clutter also shows up in our life as unfinished projects. You guys hear me? Clutter also shows up in our life as unfinished projects. It shows up as overwhelm or frustration. And one of the huge reasons we have so many unfinished projects, whether that was a course that you signed up for that you didn't fully, operate, or you didn't fully do the work. Many of us, whenever you're in a space where clutter exists in your life, it can show up in the form of unfinished projects. And that's often because we don't have a clear vision. Now, for those of you who are a service-based business owner and you have staff, or you're wanting to develop a team, right? This is what happens when you don't have a clear vision. When you don't have a clear vision, it feels like it's difficult to obtain staff. But one of the biggest issues really is there is no true vision. And so the staff doesn't know where you're going. There's no guided steps for growth or expansion. You're really bringing people on your team to grow the salon, but there's no space to grow the people. And because I realized this was such a big issue in service-based businesses or entrepreneurship, period, because oftentimes we're looking to grow the business, but not the people involved in the business. But people grow businesses. And so it's become like really important to me that I offer a measure of support for the leader to have opportunities to grow, because as the leader grows, so will the company, so will the business. And so one of the differences in someone who may finance the business, they may open the business, they may even work in the business, and a business leader, a business owner and a business leader, is vision. It's having a clear vision. Number two, the ability to influence by example. So how many times, this may have been your experience in a previous place you worked before you became the business owner, where the owner may have had these high expectations for you, but what they displayed was like completely different. There was no real example to follow. So how many of you heard the phrase, our children do what we do, not what we say? Our children do what we do, not what we say. When I heard that, and most of the revelations that I got about leadership came from me giving my life to Christ and recognizing that there were so many areas in my life that I needed to improve. And as I began to focus on those areas, every other area of my life changed. So my awareness that, I may tell my daughter to do one thing, but my examples to her would be different. And I knew that just wasn't going to work. And it's no different from you owning a business. And so a business leader is able to influence others through example, not just word of mouth, right? This may also go for those of you who are coaches. So I believe that the best coaches are not coaches who, go online and find information that they've researched and regurgitate that information back to you, but coaches who have actually walked through what it is they're wanting to teach you or to train you on, or for you to learn. Because when we've gone through those processes and those concepts ourselves, we can then become the example for people. I remember an interview I did maybe about 4 years ago. I was being interviewed, and one of the questions the interviewer asked me was, with the number of people who did not always see the need for change, what was I intending to do to change people's minds? And my response to her was, my goal wasn't to change people's minds, but to influence them through my actions. So to be mindful that I was creating systems, or that I had tools in my life that I could continue to live by what I was wanting to exemplify to those who may, find me in a leadership role, or now, that I'm coaching, is to be the example. So a leader has a clear vision, and they have the ability to influence others through example. God bless you and your friends and family. Amen. Good morning, David. How are you? Thank you for joining. Next, the difference in a business owner and a business leader. The staff will understand what's expected. The staff will understand what's expected. So often, we are giving out all of these ideas or plans without clearly explaining to the people who, we're wanting to develop a team with, what the end result is that we're desiring. And so I hear so many owners say all the time, one of their biggest issues is finding staff. But I believe as you grow as the leader, you attract your perfect people into your business. It makes it a lot simpler to kind of weed out who's going to work for your business and who won't work for the business that you're creating. Number 4, they're focused also on what the staff wants. So remember, I said oftentimes we're so focused on building the business and not building the people. We never find out the goals of the people that we're bringing on the team. So if their goals don't align with what you're building in your business or in your company, the chances of them being on for quite some time is really slim. I believe if you grow people, you will grow your business. If you grow people, you will grow your business. So for those of you who are service-based business owners, and maybe you haven't stepped into the space that you actually have staff or a team yet, if you're going to grow people and there's no one there but you, your focus should be on growing you. Hey, Peggy, how are you? Good morning. Thank you for joining. Your focus should be on growing you. So one of the biggest revelations I was sharing with you guys earlier was, and I'll just go a little deeper into that, because there was a space and time in my life where I was doing what was necessary for the public view, but internally so much stuff was off, right? Like it was just out of order. And it wasn't until I decided to grow me that everything shifted for me. Everything began to change. And when you are focused on growing as the leader, you can expect, positive growth and change in your business. So let me share with you guys, I have some more things to share about the differences in a business owner and a business leader. Again, anybody can open a business pretty much. It's not really that hard to open a business. You can finance it, you can get the proper paperwork. You can pay the bills on the place, you can hire the people, but there's a difference in a business owner and a business leader. So this is what studies show about businesses that are run by great leaders. They are better financial performers. They perform better financially when they're being run by a business leader as opposed to just a business owner. There's a significant difference. Number 2, they have better customer satisfaction. So I don't know how many of you have children who have grandmas that kind of spoil them. So recently in conversation, my daughter tells my mom that the remote to her TV isn't working. So my mom doesn't ask any questions, no questions. She just insists on buying her another TV. And thank God for Amazon, right? Because Amazon, you can order that thing and it will be to your house the next day. Almost anything that you desire to order. So when it comes in this box, and I can't tell what's in the box, but I can hear it shaking. And then inside that box is another box with the TV on the inside of it. So I'm having a conversation with my mom, telling her thank you for what she sent for my daughter and how it was packaged. And she says she made a special request that they put it in a different box other than the box that the item comes in. So those small things are, I feel, some of the reasons that Amazon is doing so well. Remember I said studies show that businesses run with great leaders, and I believe his name is Jeff Bezos, if I'm pronouncing that properly, or if I remember correctly, that owns Amazon. But they normally have better customer satisfaction, right? Because as the leader of your business, you're always looking for ways to grow the people who are connected, whether they're your customers, your staff, or whatever the case may be. Studies show that productivity is better when a business is run by a leader and not just an owner. How many of you, put me in the comments, just think about the number of people that you know who own a business. But as we run down the list of, you know, what the distinction is between a business owner and a business leader, you see that there's a grave difference. So you know, a lot of people who own a business, but not necessarily are business leaders. Now, everybody's not cut out for leadership that owns a business, but if they aren't, they have to bring people in to implement those leadership roles into their company, whether it's training for their staff or hiring someone who could be in that leadership position, because not every owner necessarily wants to lead. Some people, have you guys heard of people who silently become partners of businesses? So they have no desire, no inkling to do any type of leadership stuff in the business. They just want to put the coin in and watch the business flourish. And so many business owners are in that same position themselves. It's just that they're not silent investors in their business. You know, they're just not fully operating in the leadership role. But when you change and you have a clear vision for your business, you can influence by example. Your staff understands, you know, what to expect. And then great leaders build connections. So one of the best ways to build connections with a staff or a team is to find out what makes them tick, right? What are their values? What is it that they are desiring to gain from being on your team? As you become a better leader, right, you build a better business. You build a better business. Remember, there are business owners and then there are business leaders, and some people have really learned to operate in both of those roles. Leaders embrace change. So oftentimes someone who has not matured or sometimes, guys, it's just a simple decision to continue growing. Really and truly, if I had to sum it up to how do I switch from just operating just as a business owner to a business leader, it's a decision. It's the same decision I made. I made a decision to continuously grow, right? But so remember I said a business leader embraces change. So many of you, if you've been owning your business for any number of years now, you notice that there are seasons and times where business is better than others, right? There's slow seasons, maybe July, the summer months, depending on what your business is. January may be a slow month. What oftentimes happens with someone who has not moved over or decided to take more of a leadership role in their business, oftentimes what happens during slow times of business for someone who's just, you know, hasn't quite pushed over to that leadership role, when it's slow, they'll just say, oh, this is the slow season, right? They'll just look at it and say, business is kind of slow. But someone operating in a leadership position, they're looking for opportunity, right, to fill those gaps. They're in those times where it may be slow. That's when creativity and possibility steps in for them. So they're not just accepting the fact that it's slow. They move into a space of possibility. This is what leaders do. They embrace change. Also, leaders are passionate. So many business owners lose their passion for what they're doing because there is no plan, no vision for growth. There's a desire, right? But there's no clear vision about how growth is going to happen. So yesterday, I had trouble with my heating and air unit. So I'm in North Carolina and we're starting to get some warmer days, and I just wanted to kind of get a little chill off the house. I mean, a chill on the house, and you know, it's a little warm in here. So I went to switch my AC unit on, and a few minutes later, I started saying, man, it feels like extremely hot in here. And before I knew it, the temperature said like 85 degrees. So I was like, something is up with the AC. So guy comes over to check out my unit, and immediately I could sense a level of stress and frustration on the guy. And just during general conversation while he's looking at what's going on, and praise God it's fixed, while he's looking at what's going on, he begins to explain that, you know, he's got so many clients and he's overwhelmed. And then you guys know that I'm a business consultant, but he doesn't know this. So I'm just listening to his conversation, and I'm imagining all these things that are possibly going on in his business. In my mind, I'm like, he probably doesn't have any systems in his business. He was sharing that, you know, people had been texting him about showing up. And I mean, he was just spilling all of the beans. And you know, the consultant in me, the coach in me wanted to kick in, but I'm just listening. And then he asked me a question. He said, what is it that you do? And I said, you know, I work from home. I'm a consultant to businesses like yourself, service-based businesses. And I said, I help them, you know, build and grow their business. He was like, oh my gosh, I don't need any more customers. Now, whenever I hear that, I know that the business owner is not on a growth path, right? Do you think that Amazon is ever saying, I don't need any more customers? I don't think companies like Amazon are ever really saying that. They're actually moving into a leadership position and looking for creating ways that they will be able to serve those customers, if they're their ideal customers, in a greater way, making room, making space to actually grow. And so as he's sharing all of this stuff with me, he says, well, you know, I'm about to go into semi-retirement. Now, in my mind, I'm saying, you're still doing all of the work. And I said, oh, do you have help in your business? Are you going to duplicate your processes and let someone else get the business through your business while you know, kind of move over into semi-retirement space? And it was almost as if I was speaking a foreign language to him. And then it dawned on me, something that I had really become familiar with in the industry that I started in, which was the salon industry, that so many of us never build a business that still grows when we're not putting our hand to whatever the service is that we're doing. And so the business would just kind of go down the drain after investing all of those years. I mean, he looked worn out. He did a great job with, you know, the service that he did for me was quick, fast. And, you know, he got it done. But in my mind, I was like, he has no thought process for possibility and growth. His thing is just shut the whole thing down, which is where so many of us, you know, end up, the space that we end up being in. And I think this is where understanding that even as leaders, our gifts need cultivating. We need to be exposed to new opportunities and to possibility for growing our business. And that comes with growing ourselves. When you make a decision that you're going to grow, that you're going to continuously grow, possibility opens up for you, right? It opens the doors for possibility. Anyone who is a service-based business owner, their vision should be to grow the company. And you guys know that there are only 24 hours in the day, right? And so if you're going to continuously grow the company, it's going to require more hands than just you. I read a book, The EMyth by Michael Gerber, and it was one of the books that was on my A Book a Month, a book I was sharing each month last year with my followers. And one of the things he said is so many people open a business and they actually just create a job for themselves. So that means that if they're not operating in the business isn't earning any money, or it's not functioning, or they're so worn out because they're doing everything. And so when I heard that, it really registered to me, because It spoke to everything that I feel. So two things that are really important to me are freedom and expansion. Freedom and expansion. And so I wanted to provide a space for leaders like yourself to grow. And then I want you guys to begin thinking about your role and your position in your service-based business differently, right? I want you to see yourselves as a leader. Let's just think about it like this. So I know I have a lot of kingdom entrepreneurs who follow me. So you guys know that we have really small churches, and then we have mega churches, and then we have medium-sized churches. And when you look at them, if you were to look at them from the eye of a business owner, you know that the only reason that the mega churches are growing at the rate that they are normally connected to leadership. It's where the pastor also has leadership qualities, or they've delegated someone who has leadership qualities who can grow the people and grow the vision for the church. When I see smaller churches who are basically begging people for the building fund for 20 years and the building never gets, even remodeled, it's always just patched up. When I see that, I see a leadership issue. I don't see a church issue necessarily, or a spiritual issue. I see a leadership issue. And this is why I believe that our just aligning fully with growing a business is aligning fully with growing us, the actual leader, the owner, the person who opened the business. And so I've created a space for leaders to grow. When I visited Asheville, North Carolina, if I had to put into words what I felt, it would be wealth. Now, wealth for me is spiritual, tangible, the coin, dinero, the cheese, and well-being. So I felt all of those things while I was there. And as I was planning this retreat, I realized that I felt Asheville was an ideal place for leaders to come and clear their mind. So many of the entrepreneurs who reach out to me are dealing with cluttered minds. And it comes from not having a clear vision. If you have a clear vision, even when things get tough, it doesn't mean you throw in the towel. It means you grow, right? It means you grow to find another alternative to solving whatever that is that's going on. And what most business owners do is they move away from it and they actually just start something else new, or they're overwhelmed with busyness. So I've created an amazing atmosphere. Natoya, how are you, dear? Benita, let me see if I can pronounce that name. Let me speak to some people. Is that Shanitra? How are you guys? If you guys could do me a favor, Houston, and share the broadcast, I'd appreciate it. Marvin, Hayes, Renee, hey girl, hey Angela, hey dear. But I've created a space for leaders to grow, where you can clear your mind, a space to receive new information and be open to possibility, a shift for leaders from the busyness of everything. I truly believe that when we step outside of our normal routine, we are then in a space to grow. So a space to get unstuck. For those of you who own a business and you feel like, yes, I am busy, but my business isn't growing to the measure that I'd like for it to grow. I believe that when people make a commitment to leave home and leave their normal routine, amazing things happen. When there's a group of focused individuals in one space, right? The possibility for growth is unlimited. I want to share with you guys some of the specifics about the retreat. So it's August the 3rd, 4th, and 5th. I actually have a block of rooms from August the 2nd to the 5th for those of you who want to come early and enjoy. Asheville is beautiful. They have several hop-on, hop-off tours. They also have, you can do, I think they have a food tour as well, where you can go and try all of the different tours. They have farms, local farms in the areas. I'm not sure if any of you all are into that, but me and my mastermind members, we have a centralized focus on just becoming healthy full circle. There are several farm tours that you can do while you're in the area. So if you decide to come early, the room block for the hotel is set up for the 2nd of August. I'm actually going to, we'll be doing a tour of Asheville. For those of you who come early, you can join us there. We're going to be focusing on implementing models in your life and business that create more time freedom. Many of the business owners I know don't have the time, the space and time to grow their business. So I'm going to teach tools and models to help you create more time freedom in your business. I share with you guys that two really centralized things that are important to me are time freedom and expansion. And so in order to expand, sometimes we have to step back and step into a space where we're allowed to have that level of creativity. I'm going to teach building a business around your perfect people. So many times entrepreneurs come to me originally, and their focus is on how the customers don't want to pay or how the staff doesn't want to work. And I want to teach you tools, one, to attract your perfect people, whether they're your staff members or whether they're the customers that you're actually bringing into your business, and then being able to create your business around those perfect people. And a lot of that has to do with you as the leader, right? I also will be sharing how to create a unique lane in the marketplace. So you guys know there's several people in, regardless of the industry that you're in as far as your business, it's tons of you all doing it, right? So how do you create this unique lane in the marketplace that speaks to your idea, your perfect people, whether it's, the team that you want to grow or build, or the people that you want to service in your business. So oftentimes when we're saying people don't want to pay, are we even positioning ourselves to attract the right people who will find value in what it is that we do, right? And be willing to pay our services and then refer like people to us on a consistent basis. And then next we're going to be talking about increasing your profits without losing your personal time. So on the 3rd, it's for VIP. So if you were to choose the VIP option, you would be with us on the 3rd. That evening, there's going to be a mini brand photo shoot. On the 4th and 5th, we're going to have our strategic leadership growth sessions where I'll be teaching the models and tools that I share with you. We're also going to have private chef on the 4th and 5th, so lunch and dinner is included. There are no vegan meals. However, the chef is creating meals for those of you who only eat vegetables. So we didn't go as far as having vegan meals, but for those of you who don't eat meat, there are going to be meals included that are, I want to say vegetarian, but I don't know all of the real details, and I don't want the vegetarian police or the vegan police to come at me or whatever for that, but it will be by private chef. The venue is amazing, okay? The venue is amazing. It's rooftop. I just really wanted to create a great space for those of you who wanted to clear your mind, be in a space of possibility, and learn new tools to be able to really grow not only your business, but tools to grow as a leader, so you're creating more time freedom to be the visionary to actually grow your business. So currently, I am accepting 20 people for this opportunity. It's going to be very intimate because I'll work very closely with those of you who come. There are 8 spaces already taken, so right now there are 12 spaces available. I launched the link to some of my private clients prior to making the announcement online. Trying to think of some more details. Oh, when you do go to the landing page, you'll find that there is a link for you to click to be able to set up a call. And I did that because I want to make sure that this is aligned with what your business needs are, and that you're also aligned for the actual event. So I want this to be congruent for both of us. One, I do understand that everything isn't for everyone. And one of the things I find is that we're taking so many things, courses, classes, and then we're like, that's not even what I need. So there is a specific service-based business owner, coach, industry leader, or salon owner who this is for. This is uniquely and purposely for that specific individual. And so you'll click the button at the end of the page and it'll allow you to set up a call. So you'll answer like 5 questions and then we'll hop on a call, and then I'll share all of the details, the hotel information, flight information, things of that nature, if you feel that this is aligned for your business and if I feel that it's a good fit for what I'll be teaching and sharing as well. So it's called the Strategic Leadership Growth Retreat. It's August the 3rd, 4th, and 5th. The hotel block with the promotional rates are available for the 2nd. You may want to bring family or friends with you to this, well, not to this event, because the only people allowed in the sessions are those of you who have paid and applied, but you can definitely bring your family to enjoy the area. Asheville is beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. How many of you have been to Asheville before? Anyone been to Asheville, North Carolina before? I think it's absolutely amazing. You'll love the environment. Once you have clicked to get more details and to see if it's aligned for your business growth, I also created a link that has maybe about 50 things that you can do while in Asheville, so you can make it a family staycay for that weekend, or however you would want this time to be for you. But it is definitely going to be bananas, as in powerful. I'm looking for us to have an amazing time. Very relaxed, but in a huge space to grow and to grow possibility. For those of you who are interested, you can go to www.strategicleadershipgrowth.com. www.strategicleadershipgrowth.com, and I'll come back and put the link in the comments. But guys, there is a significant difference in a business owner and a business leader. And most oftentimes we see a lot of business owners who haven't transitioned over into business leadership. A business leader has a clear vision. They influence others by example. They have expectations that their staff understands because their vision of where the company or the business is going is so clear. They build connection, whether that's collaboration with the right people in the community or with their staff or whoever they're bringing on. They embrace change. I gave you guys the example. When it's slow, someone who may have just opened a business will say, oh, it's just slow during this time. But a leader will get into a space of possibility. Hey, Maisha, how are you, dear? They'll get into a space of possibility and figure out how to create more opportunity and more revenue during a season that would normally be slow. This is one of the reasons why our businesses, do this slow downfall when it feels like we're busy, because we haven't fully stepped into our position as a leader. Remember, a leader embraces change, and a leader is passionate. They're passionate enough. One of the reasons that they're passionate enough, because they understand their real why for growing the business. So the leadership retreat is for those who have purpose. They understand that what they're building has purpose bigger than just opening a business, right? One of the biggest things a leader can do is learn who they are, operate in a space of awareness, and then this helps you to dictate how you're growing the business. Now, I teach branding all the time, and this is why I love this whole concept of leadership and growth and branding, because your brand is more about who you are and how the marketplace sees you. And sometimes how the marketplace sees us needs to be different in order for us to actually manifest what we're wanting to happen in our business, right? And so all of this ties in with branding and building your business, and I just absolutely love it. Most oftentimes in business growth, we normally don't have a business issue, we have a leadership issue. I feel like as we grow, the desire to do things differently, to become the person that can actually not only manifest but sustain what's at the next level. One of the things I was going over my values for my business, and one of them is, and I'm putting myself out here with this, but one of them is excellence. So every now and then I'll go back and I'll check my values, and I may have learned that there's another focus that I want to have in my business. And so I want to explain what excellence means to you all, because sometimes when we hear excellence, we think perfect. We think perfection. That's not what I'm talking about, because I believe that done is better than perfect. I believe so many people are waiting to really move to their next level of growth because they're waiting for things to be perfect. That's not what I mean at all. But what I mean by excellence is doing the best that you possibly can with what you have. And so much of growth is in the vault space, like those areas where we've left things on the table that would actually allow us possibility to grow. So let me give you an example. So doing the best with what you have. Monday, I felt terrible, right? Like I just woke up, felt bad, had chills, the whole nine. So I have this little tea that I use. I put some fresh ginger, honey, a piece of garlic, and what else do I put in? And a cough drop, right? And it normally, if I'm feeling like I'm about to get a cold or something of that nature, normally works. But this time, it worked a little bit, but not that much. So I'm feeling kind of weak. And now it's never a good time to feel sick, right? It's never a good time to feel sick. But for me, it was on a Monday. And Monday is a busy day for me, so I normally coach, well, not normally, but my group coaching is on Mondays. I also come on and do my live training every Monday, normally only on my business page. So for those of you who are getting to experience me on my personal page today, this is very rare, very rare. But I also had a webinar that evening. So now this is the battle I was making in my mind. I was like, okay, well, my live broadcast that I do on Mondays, I could say, I just don't feel well, right? And not show up. And then the webinar was free. It was complimentary, right? So, most people would be like, girl, it's free. You don't even nobody has exchanged any money. But as I was battling in my mind, we make all of these excuses. What came up was the word excellence, and what I've learned that it really means, and is to do the best with what you have. So I asked myself, I said, if a long lost girlfriend was to call me on the phone now, could I, and we talked for an hour, could I do that? And my answer was yes, I could push through and do that. So really me not coming on would kind of have been an excuse. It wouldn't be me doing the best with what I had. Now I know if I'm, just sick, about laid out, I understand how to say, I need a pass, or, to do what's going to be best for my health. But in that moment, I knew I could push through. So to me, that is excellence. That's what I mean by excellence. And it's just a space that I want to continue to grow and operate in, not in my excuses, right? So it starts with small things that, I could get a pass, but I'm just going to choose the higher road. Now, it's a process. It's something that you have to say. Just about everything that you're doing, you have to say, okay, I told myself I'm going to operate in excellence, which means me doing the best I can with what I have. And what happens when you begin to operate in that space, which is a level of growth, when you begin to operate in that space, you begin to attract differently into your business. Somebody tap the screen. If you guys understand, if this is registering for you, right, you begin to attract differently from your business. So sometimes we think excellence is doing 5,000 things. But I've learned that when you set out to grow, to really grow, and maybe excellence is going to be something that you decide to take on, it actually simplifies your life, because you're not saying yes to everything. You're saying yes to things that you really feel are going to significantly cause you to grow. I had a great friend of mine to reach out to me and invite me to an industry event. And, you know, I took a few days, I battled with myself because, you know, a part of me didn't want to say no, right? I didn't want to say no. But as I looked at the event, which I felt was an amazing event, it was an amazing event, but I looked at the details of the event and it wasn't aligned with my vision, right? It wasn't aligned with the vision that I wanted for my life and my business. It doesn't mean that that thing wasn't great, but it just wasn't great for me. So about 2 to 3 days later, you know, I reached back and shared that I thought it was an amazing event. It just wasn't aligned with where I was growing, not going, but where I was growing. And this is what you taking on a decision to really grow does. It simplifies your life. And I find that so many business owners are into adding. They're into adding. And what my goal is for the Strategic Leadership Retreat is to provide tools for you to move into simplification that leads to multiplication. Simplification that leads to multiplication. And that's a level of freedom. So I share with you all that freedom and expansion were important to me. And so what I do is focus on how those things can transpire. What tools can we have to simplify the processes that we're doing in our business, and then actually have multiplication occurring in our life instead of adding, you know, a lot of things to our life. So guys, I kind of veered off and just went into my own personal heart space. But for those of you who feel you're aligned for our retreat, it's going to be amazing. We'd love to have you. Go to www.strategicleadershipgrowth.com, www.strategicleadershipgrowth.com. The prices will increase sometimes in May. I don't know all the details. I have to go back on the thing. I didn't write that part down. Just give you guys an opportunity because I finally released the link publicly on social media. Thank you guys so much for checking in. If you enjoyed the broadcast, tap the screen for hearts, show a little love before signing off, and be sure to share with another industry professional. So this may be ideal for you, and maybe you'd like to let one of your business besties know about the opportunity. And maybe that'll be someone who can hop on the plane with you, or possibly some of you, I didn't know until, one of the people signed up is from Atlanta, and I didn't realize that Asheville was only 3 hours away from Atlanta, 3.5, I believe. So some of you may decide to do a road trip to come and experience the Leadership Growth Retreat. But I welcome you. I'm looking so forward to it. I'm excited about this opportunity. It's something that manifested, right? I spoke it, and of course I had to align with it, because sometimes as kingdom entrepreneurs we just go around speaking all day long, but we never fully align. We never fully position ourselves with what we're speaking, and so that's one of the reasons we don't see it manifest. So I don't want you guys to think that I just spoke it and it just happened, because I had to spend some coin. I had to also align myself personally to stand in the space to teach and serve those of you who would come. So you guys have a super, super amazing day. I appreciate your time. Hey, Floyd, how's it going? Hope everybody's doing well. You guys have a super amazing day.